guys, I am with the revered Peter Gregory, who is who is a vet of some renown. Peter, would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself to our group and just tell them about a very interesting job that you have?
Yes, I'm Peter Gregory. I'm a veterinary surgeon. I qualified many years ago, and I've been practicing homeopathy around about 30 years. As time's gone on, I've got involved in teaching homeopathy, so I've run courses or been involved in courses around the world and in the accredited courses in the UK, one of which at the moment is still running in Bristol at the National Centre for Integrated Medicine, and I am now Veterinary Dean of the Faculty of Homeopathy in London. So I have responsibility for educating homeopathic vets.
Tremendous.
And in examining them as well.
I'm sure they love you for it. Now, is there any particular feeding methodology you would recommend, and can I ask why?
Yes, I think the word is species appropriate, isn't it? Quite a while ago I came across the concept of raw feeding. I spent a bit of time working in Australia with Tom Lonsdale, who was very much a sort of pioneer of the raw meaty bones diet, and also with the author of the BAHVS diet, basically, whose name escapes me for the moment, and it will come back. But probably 20 years ago I got involved in the concept of raw feeding, Ian Billinghurst, and I've sort of pursued it ever since. There's a concept in homeopathy of obstacles to cure. Samuel Hahnemann in paragraph 3 of the Organon states that it's important to remove obstacles to cure, and it became clear early on in my homeopathic career that if that modern feeding methods were an obstacle to cure and needed to be altered, and raw feeding is the way that animals should be fed, or the pet animals I deal with, mainly dogs and cats. Their natural diet is meat, bones, and a bit of veggie stuff, but basically raw feeding.
Tremendous. And just to clarify, obstacle to cure, basically what we're saying is it's very difficult to heal the animal if it's not on a species appropriate diet, or if it's not being raw fed.
Absolutely.
Because it's getting basically a huge stress load from processed food.
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. Yeah. Now, you mentioned several books. I do believe that you may have written a book yourself as well.
Yes, I've been involved in a few books. Initially, I co-authored a book called Textbook of Veterinary Homeopathy, which is still in print, with a very good friend of mine, John Saxton. And then 7-8 years ago, I had a book published of my own called Insights into Veterinary Homeopathy, which is slightly autobiographical. It's the story of how I got into homeopathy and where I've come to in my understanding of homeopathy. And it's a sort of advanced textbook, I suppose. It's been translated into German, and it's selling very well in Germany, actually.
There seems to be a lot of confusion, or rather misinformation out there, between conventional, homeopathic and holistic. Now, in my understanding, none of them are mutually exclusive. Could you kindly just take a moment to explain what each one is and how they could work together?
Yes. If we start with holistic, the concept of holism is around, it goes further than the individual animal, but if we confine it to an individual animal, it's looking at the whole patient. Homeopathy is a holistic therapy. So if we want to get the best results out of homeopathy, we have to look at the whole patient. And that includes looking at its mental and emotional state, as well as the physical symptoms, and things like its environment, and its, as we've already mentioned, the diet. Conventional medicine doesn't tend to do that. Conventional medicine tends to be reductive. It looks for the cause of the symptoms and then tries to eliminate the symptoms. And the cause may be a bacterial infection, so conventional medicine will try and get rid of the bacteria. It may be an inflammation, and so conventional medicine would use an anti-inflammatory. So most of conventional medicine is working on that sort of local basic level and doesn't take the whole patient into account.
Okay.
Homeopathy is a holistic therapy. There are other therapies that are holistic, and there are other ways of approaching holistic medicine. But for me, homeopathy is the mainstay. That's the form of medicine I am most experienced in. There's no reason why a holistic view can't involve conventional medicine and homeopathy alongside.
Okay.
But the basic concepts are different, and there's quite often there becomes a tension between a holistic therapy and actually the conventional approach.
Okay. Well, thank you for clearing that up. If people want to find out more about homeopathy and about yourself, where should we direct them to? About myself, I do some work for Tim Cousins at the Holistic Veterinary Medicine Centre in Sussex, so I can be contacted through there. In terms of my educational side, I suppose, the Faculty of Homeopathy in London, I can be contacted through there. And you asked me about something else. If people wanted to inform themselves more about homeopathy and find out if it's a relevant treatment or something that they would like to explore more for their own pet or themselves, where would you advise them to look as a starting point? Best starting point for that is the British Association of Homeopathic Veterinary Surgeons. They have a very good website which will tell you about homeopathy, about the history, what to expect, and will put you on towards a list of homeopathic veterinary surgeons around the country. Tremendous, tremendous. And whilst there aren't a lot of homeopathic vets, they are relatively widespread throughout the country, is that correct? They are. If you want a qualified homeopathic vet, you need to look for someone preferably who's a member of the Faculty of Homeopathy. That means they've done a 3-year course and they've gone through an examination procedure, and they're then granted veterinary membership of the Faculty of Homeopathy. There is a sort of primary qualification which is taken after 1 year, which is a licentiate of the Faculty of Homeopathy. That means it's someone who's actually they're involved in homeopathy, they've had a basic training, but probably not experienced enough to take referrals. Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you.